Apple is about to do something it has not done in years. And if you're sitting on iPhone 15 Pro Max or even an iPhone 16 Pro Max right now, what is coming in 2026 could be the most important upgrade decision you make this decade. The iPhone 18 Pro Max is shaping up to be a fundamentally different device. Not just a spec bump, not just a camera tweak. We are talking about structural changes to the chip, the display, the AI system, and potentially the price. Changes that make the timing of your next purchase genuinely complicated. Expected starting price? Around $1,299 for the base configuration, with the highest storage tier likely pushing past $1,599. That is real money, and spending at the wrong time could cost you significantly. So let us get straight into everything we know right now. The biggest story with the iPhone 18 Pro Max is the chip. Apple is expected to introduce the A20 Pro, built on TSMC's next-generation 2nm process. To put that in real terms, the A18 Pro inside the current iPhone 16 Pro Max already destroys everything Samsung and Google are shipping. The Snapdragon 8 Elite inside the Galaxy S25 Ultra is impressive, but Apple's silicon advantage has been growing, not shrinking. With the 2nm A20 Pro, early analyst estimates suggest a 25 to 30% improvement in CPU performance over the A18 Pro. For video editors exporting a 4K project, that could mean cutting render time from 4 minutes down to under 3 minutes. For photographers batch processing RAW files, the difference is immediate and daily. But here's where things get very interesting. The performance improvement is only half the story. The A20 Pro is expected to bring dramatically better energy efficiency alongside that raw power, which means Apple is not just making this phone faster. They're targeting longer sustained performance without thermal throttling. One of the consistent criticisms of the Pro Max lineup has been that under heavy, sustained workloads, performance can drop. The 2nm architecture is specifically designed to address that exact problem. For power users and creators, that matters enormously. A phone that runs fast for 5 minutes is very different from a phone that stays fast through a full professional workflow. Now let us talk about the display, because most buyers comparing spec sheets are completely missing this detail. The iPhone 18 Pro Max is expected to feature a new generation promotion display running it up to 120 Hz with a significant jump in peak brightness, potentially hitting 3,000 nits in outdoor conditions. The current 16 Pro Max already reaches 2,000 nits, which is class-leading. But the jump to 3,000 nits would make this the brightest display ever shipped on a consumer smartphone. For creators editing in bright outdoor environments, and for professionals reviewing visual content in direct sunlight, this is a meaningful upgrade, not a marketing number. There is also strong speculation around under-display Face ID arriving with the iPhone 18 series. If confirmed, this would allow Apple to finally push toward a true full-screen design, something Samsung and Google have been working toward for years. Apple typically moves slowly on design changes, but when they do move, they do it right. Here is the part that almost nobody is talking about right now. Apple Intelligence. The AI system that launched with iOS 18 was frankly underwhelming at launch. Apple knows this. The iPhone 18 Pro Max is expected to be the first device where Apple's on-device AI capabilities genuinely compete with and potentially surpass what Google is delivering with Gemini on the Pixel 10 Pro. The A20 Pro's neural engine is expected to handle significantly more complex tasks locally without cloud dependency, which matters enormously for privacy-focused professionals and enterprise buyers. Real-world AI features expected to arrive include real-time language translation during calls, intelligent camera scene optimization that goes far beyond current computational photography, and a Siri that can actually complete complex multi-step tasks across apps. If Apple delivers on even half of this, it changes the value proposition of this device significantly. Most people upgrading from an iPhone 15 right now are making a $400 mistake. Here's why. If you are currently on an iPhone 15 Pro Max and you are considering moving to the 16 Pro Max at today's pricing, which starts around $1,199, you are buying into a Devic that is already one generation behind a massive architectural shift. The A20 Pro on the 18 Pro Max will represent the largest performance jump Apple has delivered in several years. Buying the 16 Pro Max today means you are spending over $1,000 on a phone that will feel noticeably behind within 18 months. The benchmark numbers look impressive on paper, but here is what the real-world performance gap actually reveals, and the results are more significant than most people realize. The A18 Pro to A20 Pro jump is not a typical incremental year-over-year improvement. The move from 3 nanometers to 2 nanometers, combined with architectural refinements Apple has been developing for 2 full product cycles, means the gap between the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the iPhone 18 Pro Max is expected to be larger than the gap between the 14 Pro Max and the 16 Pro Max combined. That is the kind of generational leap that makes current flagship owners genuinely uncomfortable. For the camera system, which for most buyers is the primary purchase driver, the iPhone 18 Pro Max is expected to bring a significant sensor upgrade. Rumor details point toward a larger main sensor with improved low-light performance, along with a new 5x periscope zoom that improves upon the current generation with better optical stabilization and sharper edge-to-edge sharpness at maximum zoom. For travel photographers and content creators, this is the kind of hardware upgrade that directly affects the quality of work you produce every single day. Now, let us get to the question every buyer in this position actually needs to answer. So after reviewing everything, the chip architecture, the display, the AI capabilities, the camera upgrades, and the competitive landscape, here is the honest breakdown. If you're on an iPhone 13 Pro Max or older by the iPhone 18 Pro Max when it launches, you will be skipping 2 to 3 generations of improvements across every single metric. The long-term ownership value is exceptional. 6 years of software support, the most powerful mobile chip on the market, the best sustained performance of any smartphone in 2026, and a camera system that will remain competitive for years. Spread across a 3-year ownership cycle, the $1,299 investment works out to under $37 per month. For a device you use every hour of every day, that math is straightforward. If you're on an iPhone 14 Pro Max, this is also a strong upgrade. The performance difference between the A15 Bionic and the expected A20 Pro is dramatic. The camera improvements are generational, and the under-display Face ID design change, if confirmed, means waiting even one more year becomes difficult to justify. If you're on an iPhone 15 Pro Max, the decision is more nuanced. You're not suffering right now, but the A20 Pro jump is real. And if your primary use case is professional photography, video production, or you rely heavily on AI-assisted workflows, the performance ceiling difference will become noticeable quickly. Waiting for the 18 Pro Max is the smarter financial decision. If you're on an iPhone 16 Pro Max, wait. You already have the A18 Pro chip, the 5x periscope zoom, and Apple Intelligence support. The 18 Pro Max will be a meaningful upgrade in roughly 18 months. Use that time, evaluate your needs, and make a calculated move then. If you are currently comparing this against the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra or the Google Pixel 10 Pro, both of which will be competing in this same price tier, the honest answer is that Apple's ecosystem advantage, long-term software support commitment, and silicon performance lead make the iPhone 18 Pro Max the stronger long-term investment for most buyers in the US, UK, Canada, and Australia. The final answer is simple. If you are 2 or more generations behind, the iPhone 18 Pro Max will be the most significant investment in daily productivity and creative performance you can make in 2026. If you want the full head-to-head breakdown of the iPhone 18 Pro Max against the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra, including camera tests, real-world benchmarks, and a complete price comparison. That full analysis is coming next.